Hey guys, welcome back to Home Built, and in this episode I thought I would do something a little bit easier today and just make a new floor panel for Harry. So I hope you guys have really enjoyed the build process with Harry all over the last 5 years to get to where we are. But of course, with all project cars, it's never finished, and there's still a lot more things that I want to do to Harry to make it just keep refining and getting it better, because that's what we do. And today is no different. And if you are enjoying these videos, please think about subscribing, because it does help us out, and yeah, and you'll be notified of more of my crazy shenanigans. Anyway, going back to the last episode on this car, you saw him on the dyno, and I just want to go over some of the regular comments that we're going through. There are about 1 million comments from people saying the exhaust was the issue. I actually have never driven with the new bimodal exhaust that I made on the street, because it didn't really make enough of a difference. I just didn't bother with it. So it was been running the old exhaust, so that hadn't changed since last time. So I still don't exactly know what had changed since the first time. The actual power figure itself, yes, I would like it to be a higher number, but the power figure was less of my concern. My big concern really was the way that the torque dropped off sharply at 6,000 RPM, whereas these cams are designed to make good solid power through to at least sort of 7,000 RPM and only taper off slightly. The way they drop off sharply shows that there's probably a restriction of some sort somewhere. Something is, either it's not getting enough fuel, enough spark, or venting enough gas out, or getting enough air in or out. So there's something to be looked into. But that said, I went for a big drive yesterday with a bunch of 996 turbos and a 993 turbo. Let's just say that none of them were slowed down by Harry. Yes, the turbos were pulling away, but not by a lot. Harry is quick. Harry, like, I am really impressed with how it drives on the road. It is, it's a lot of fun. It really is a lot of fun, and it's a great car to drive on the road. So, yeah, there's some more things to check into. I haven't checked to see if it's getting full throttle. The airflow ratios were good on the run. They were nice and smooth, so I don't think it's losing fuel. He kept adding timing into it until it dropped back off, till the power dropped back off again. So it wasn't. It's definitely not timing. So it's something else. So exhaust is something that I probably should look into. I probably should look at getting some sort of better extractors at some stage, and some sort of free flowing exhaust, at least to try it. Try it on the road to start with and just see how it feels at the seat of the pants, and yeah, maybe go back for another power run later when I've sort of sorted things out and it feels like it's actually doing something different. So anyway, today I thought I would get in and have a look at the pedals. There's a lot of things in the interior that aren't finished off, or that I'm going to redo because I'm not really happy with how they ended up. And the first thing to tackle is the pedals. Okay, so as many of you know, I have the race pedal box down here in Harry, and as you can see, behind it is all open. There's, it's not finished at all, and yeah, I'm definitely not happy with this floor mat that I built for the car. It moves around and sort of gets in the way. Yeah, it's not well finished. So to start with, I'm going to make a panel that sits up behind the pedals, and actually sort of finishes off that back area of the car underneath the dash there. All right, so that was a lot of cutting and patching. I've got, multiple pieces that are sort of stuck on and pulled off just to get sort of a rough shape of what I need to cut out. So this will sit over the top of the pedals and sort of provide a bit of a sort of a prettier panel in there. I've got a big sheet of aluminium here. I'm going to draw it out in the aluminium, cut it out, and hopefully get it in the car looking a bit nicer. All right, so there is my basic foot panel design cut out of a nice sheet of aluminium. It's about 1.6 mil aluminium, I think. As a note, if any of you are going to be cutting it out, it's a good project you can do at home. It's pretty easy because I actually use a jigsaw with a wood blade on it. I find actually it's even quite a coarse wood blade. I could probably go slightly finer, but I don't like using an angle grinder on this stuff. I actually had a similar sort of thing in my day job during the week. I had a guy who had his fingers trapped inside a ladder, in an aluminium ladder. We had to cut the ladder apart, and I didn't want to use the angle grinder because the angle grinder tends to melt its way through and puts a lot of heat into the panel, whereas when you're using something with a blade, it actually cuts through quite smoothly and neatly and doesn't heat it up that much. So definitely the way to go. I do like working with this aluminium. It's just it's quite easy to use and easy to cut and file out, which is what I've done here. So now I'm going to get onto the brake and just fold up a couple of these sections just to add a little bit of rigidity into it, and then we'll see if it fits. Okay, so we have it in, but there's a little bit of clearance. I want to make sure there is absolutely no interference with the pedals as well. So I'm going to trim these sides a little bit out of here for the balance bar, and the accelerator currently is touching at the top. So I need to definitely fix that because we want to make sure we can get full throttle. That was lots of backwards and forwards. I ended up putting like a couple of kinks over the top to get the clearance for the accelerator pedal so that it's not touching anywhere. When I slam the pedals down and hit the stops at the base of the pedals, everything is nice and clear. There's lots of clearance. I had to make some of these holes bigger and stuff like that, but which are all sort of hidden in behind the pedals. But that is finally looking good. And thankfully I had enough brains to keep a couple of offcuts of the same carpet that I used in this car originally. So I'm going to now cover this in carpet, get some spray glue, cover it in carpet, and we'll chuck it in the car. And there we go. So we actually have the carpeted panel in there. So obviously I'm ducking right down in the footwell, and I need to paint some of the underside of here black to hide things up, but it just looks a lot neater now, a lot more finished. Obviously I need to clean the carpets and stuff, but that can be done on another day because I'm definitely out of time. So that was a pretty light, easy episode for today. Took me longer than I thought, as everything always does, but yeah, it's just going through. There's a bunch of things I need to do to tidy up inside Harry's interior. The floor mats are another one that I am not happy with, the floor mats that I made a long time ago. So to just continually work and build it up and get it right. And if you want to help out keeping me building these crazy things, you can always join us on Patreon and watch the videos ad-free a day early. And if you need to find parts for any of your Porsches, make sure you compare prices at PorschePartsByJeff.com first. All right, guys, see you next time.